Alright, what's up guys, George here, and today we're going to continue working on the VQ35 swapped 240sx. We're pretty much done with the swap. All we've got left to do is put the drive shaft in, we got to put the wiring harness in when it comes in, and then we got to figure out the fuel pump situation. So right now I'm going to go ahead and tackle the fuel pump situation. What we're going to be doing is using the stock G35 fuel sending unit as well as pump, just because we're converting from a return style system, which comes in the 240s from the factory, to a returnless system, which is what the G35 that I use as a parts car has. Luckily I had a parts car, so I was able to take so much stuff I wanted. Right here we got the sending unit as well. We have the wiring that plugs into it over there. But our first task is going to be installing this in the 240 where we had our stock 240 sending unit before. So right now we're just going to start by pulling out the factory fuel stuff and taking a look to see how we're going to get the G35 sending unit to sit in the S13 fuel tank. So I just went ahead and threw the intake on the car super easy. I went ahead and just cut it here, so we just had like a nice little 45-degree angle on this part. Filter sits down here. Just went ahead and put this here, bolted in, super secure. It's not going anywhere. So now I'm going to go ahead and finish up the fuel line. Of course, since we're switching to a returnless system, we're going to go ahead and just rip out the return line that goes back to the tank, so we're not going to be using that. We're just going to be using the feed line. The fuel line kind of goes a little bit too close to the header. I did heat wrap the header, but it's still a little bit too close for comfort. So I went ahead and just picked up some of this like heat resistant tubing I'm going to put around the fuel line just as like a secondary precaution to try and keep the temperature of the fuel down, kind of avoid any issues that might be associated with very warm fuel next to exhausts, like fires, but that's probably not going to happen inside of a fuel line. Also, it's just better to have your fuel not be super hot. So we're going to go ahead and throw that on real quick, and then we're going to go ahead and hook up our fuel filter and fuel lines. This fuel filter is essentially new. I put it on right before I boosted the car. Probably drove the car boosted for a total of 50 miles, so this is essentially a new fuel filter. Just got some oxidation on the outside of it because it's like some weird uncoated metal and it was kind of in the car and it probably got wet. So I got the heat sleeve onto the fuel line, so now I'm just going to go ahead. I hooked up the fuel filter and the fuel stuff to the fuel rail. Of course, returnless, we don't have to have a return line. Went ahead and started pulling off the bottom of the car. Now I'm just going to go ahead, super easy, bolt up the new drive shaft. Take a look at it real quick. We now have a one-piece drive shaft. It's super nice. Went to a drive shaft shop with both the G35 and my factory 240Ka drive shaft. They were able to use the part that would go into the differential from the 241, and then the part that goes into the transmission from the G35 one, and then just a fresh piece of tubing in the middle. Now we've got our drive shaft. Super happy with it. It's so much lighter than all of the two-piece drive shafts. It's going to feel super good. I was thinking, oh, maybe one day I'll put an S14 rear subframe in the car, then I'll be able to put a 350Z diff in it, that would fix all the gearing issues. But for now, that would be so much extra work that I just don't really need right now. So we're going to make it easy, put the factory 240 gearing to work with the G35 transmission. The gearing's going to be probably pretty short, but it doesn't really matter for now. We should be all set. It should feel really fast because it's going to have super short gears. So we got the car up in the air, got our bolts to put the drive shaft onto the differentials. Surprisingly, it's the right length, so we're going to go ahead and bolt it in, and we should have that all set. So we went ahead and just put the drive shaft in, didn't forget to put the Loctite on the bolts to go into the differential. That should be secured. Went ahead, tightened each bolt down with the car in gear. Next, we're going to go ahead and just start throwing fluids into the car because, I mean, at this point, there's really not much left to do besides fluids in the wiring harness. So let's get started with that. So now I'm just going to go ahead and throw the new oil and filter into the motor right now. So now I'm going to go ahead and fill up the power steering fluid. In our case, it's going to be some ATF. And use on racks and pumps like the automatic transmission fluid as opposed to just traditional power steering fluid. So now I'm just going to go ahead and throw a bunch of coolant in the car. About a little of this 50-50. And then I might have some more concentrate, we'll see, and then I might throw some distilled water in. The only reason I'm putting coolant in instead of like water and water wetter is because I don't know when the next time the car is going to be driven is, and it might end up sitting through the winter with this coolant in it, so I don't want water freezing in the engine. So we're just going to go ahead and use some coolant. Alright, so a lot of really cool stuff has happened in a very short period of time. Like yesterday, the day before my wiring harness came in, I went ahead and just threw it on the motor. I was too excited to not do it, so I just did it. I have a couple connectors I still haven't figured out where they go. They might be for like weird AC things I don't have, I don't know. I'll figure that out soon. They don't look important, like the car would probably run without them. I went ahead and wired the fuel pump. It was super easy, just use a G35 fuel pump, bolted in with all the G35 stuff. It's the exact same pattern on the gas tank. Black wire to black wire with the yellow stripe to black wire with the yellow stripe, and that should really be it. Plugged it in. You only need the feed line. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the return line off the rest of the car. And I mean, aside from that, I got the MAF plugged in. Now I'm just going ahead, feeding the wiring harness through the firewall so I can go ahead and hook the ECU up inside the car. And then aside from that, we have to wire in like two things because I got to plug and play a harness from Hexa Garage. So we have to wire in a ground, and then when we set up the tachometer, we'll go ahead and wire that up. Gonna go ahead and put fluid into the transmission, and then I should probably bleed the clutch. And aside from that, like, it still needs an exhaust. Probably should bleed the coolant. I'll check the oil. I put new oil in it. I think that should be it, and it should turn on and drive down the road. So we'll see. I'm gonna get everything done right now, and then we'll see what happens. All right, so just got all the fluid into the transmission. It took right around 4 quarts. Fluid pump was super slow. I was down there for a little long time, but it's all in. There's no one with me right now, so I'm trying to just letting the clutch try and gravity bleed itself. I don't know if it's gonna work, but it's worth a try because I'd like to see if it would. Like, fluid's coming out, fluid's going through, so I might just try and like close up the bleeding bung on the slave cylinder and like press the clutch down and see if like it has a feeling to it. I might have to adjust there was a bug. I might have to adjust the clutch because this definitely is not going to be the same as the clutch that was in the KA. I might have to adjust it so it grabs a little higher or lower so it doesn't slip or anything. And then aside from that, we should be pretty much done with that. So we just got the harness into the car. I think everything's hooked up. We just got the starter hooked up, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the battery, and then we're going to try and turn the car on. The ECU is plugged in and everything. So we'll see what happens. I'm a bit concerned, but it's funny if it catches on fire. There's oil in the engine, which is all that really matters.
Jesus, something just turned on over here. Or it exploded. It sounded like you popped a fuse.
Really?
It was like, in that box it was like...
Was it a relay?
I don't know. We'll try turning it on.
Well, it's not on enough, I think. I'll hit it with this hammer.
What are you hitting with the hammer?
Battery terminal. Alright, let's see what happens. If this starter turns on, I'm going to be pretty surprised.
If the engine turns on.
That would be funny.
Not prepared for that.
Did you hear any noises?
No.
Fans are on.
Oh!
There's no fuel in the fuel line.
Yeah. How do we just keep priming the fuel pump, right? Battery's dying. Remember, do you have enough fuel in the tank? Do you remember how we said that thing?
Do you smell fuel at all?
I saw something.
Try one more time and then I'm gonna see if there's fuel.
Okay, check for fuel.
Okay, just prime it a couple more times for it to fill up, and then I can see what happens.
What'd the guy say?
Yeah.
I mean, there's none coming out at all. Okay, wouldn't you like, doesn't it sound different if it's picking up fuel? Oh no, it's on the street. Just dump it all on the street.
No, it's gonna stay in the road.
Right here, there's a stick. There's a piece of it in there. I'm telling you.
Hello. What the? That was the gas cap. Shit.
Hello.
What do you think of G30? Fuck.
Fuck. What are you talking about? What kind of gas do you think it takes?
Torch it.
Jesus Christ. No. Well, there's still a stick in there.
Shoot.
No, it's trying to fall in.
Trying to push it in. It's gone. German engineering. Yeah.
Okay, what kind of gas do you think a G35 needs? Is that what you said?
You think it takes 87?
I mean, you'd hope it takes 87, but it probably takes 93.
No.
Or at least
it's a race car, so it would probably take 93. Well,
he should have tuned it for 93.
if that woman ran over this cap, I'm gonna be pissed.
Oh, she did. I forget where it went. I saw it on the ground.
Well, she blew over the big.
No, I saw her hit both. Right here.
Really? Cool.
Oh, do I just put it in my trunk?
Yeah.
Do you have like a cardboard box we can sit it on or in?
Yeah.
Okay. My car smells like gas already, so I guess it really doesn't matter. By accident, on purpose. Jesus Christ.
Dang. I need my wallet. So right now we're driving to a gas station to buy some gas for the 240sx. I think there's not enough in the fuel tank for the fuel pump to be picking it up. So we're gonna see what kind of gas a G35 takes. Hopefully it takes 87. Oh, it calls for premium? I think we'll do 93. That looks good. That's what the internet likes.
Are they yelling at you?
I thought so. You have to pour slowly.
Well, it's gonna take forever. Just pour into the hole in your trunk.
I'm not taking that off. I think I've put gas in this car with a gas tank more than I have with a gas nozzle at a gas station. So I've done this 3 times.
You think that's enough?
Yeah. Might as well put it on.
It's gonna be so loud when it turns on.
That's fine.
Good thing it's not like 8:30 p.m. when we usually do it, and your parents have to come out yelling at you.
10:30 p.m.
True. How much was that? 5 gallons?
Ish. I guess go now.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep. Oh, I hear noises. I think it's filling out the filter. Oh yeah, the filter's getting heavy. Oh, it's coming out. It's black though. No, it's not.
I stopped it.
Okay.
Should I do more?
Should I hook it back up to the car?
Yes, let's see what goes down.
Yeah, screwy boy. Cool. It's gonna fall off the wood in the back and run into my hood. Oh. It's so low. I love when it's on the ground. Oh. Yeah.
I'm gonna drive it out of the garage.
Yeah, drive it. See if the transmission works. The fan?
So fast.
There's no exhaust on it.
Look at all.
I need to drive it a little bit.
What?
I think I need to drive it.
Can we just put it up the driveway so it's taller?
Okay.
Holy shit.
Something fell off.
Screwdriver.
Yay.
I smell burning.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this.
It's cool, isn't it?
Wow, I'm making a lot of...
Power steering?
Yeah, can you turn it off? Made a lot of different sounds.
There's no
It's
hood.
really bad.
I know this... It's way too long. Wow, this is so exciting.
How do you even know what gear you're in?
Did you get it?
Are you pouring it?
I feel like I'm a good camera car driver.
You're just driving.
I was on the floor a lot.
To capture this car doing like idle speed. That way, because it's like less people the better.
And I realized there was
You should do a rally cross before you
there
put
was a
suspension on it.
stock WRX. He's gonna send this right here.
Is he? It's
Yeah.
recording.
Nope, there's too many cars actually.
What's around forefront? Just drift this and then
That's really it's so sketchy.
Oh, I thought he was gonna do it.
To drift a corner, it's like actually sketchy.
No, it's not.
I mean, that's like on a road. It kind of like I don't know.